Okay, very good. All right, so anybody have any questions, comments? Anything? Nope. Okay, good. Let's get started. So when we last left off, and we'll do a little bit of review here, we were right at the Dalet, I believe. Right about here. So one of the things I like to emphasize with this is when we're doing this Dalet, that's what the letter's called. That's the name of the letter, Dalet, versus the Resh. And in the file that I sent out originally, and I think I had it set out in this week's email as well. I'm going to keep including it. It's not necessarily in the order of the Aleph Bet that they have the letters, but they kind of have them paired up so that you can kind of see, contrast the letters. The fact that these two letters, the Aleph and the Ayin, are both silent letters. And whatever vowel, whatever little Nakud mark is under them, and here are your vowels that give those letters the sound. That way, to enunciate, they will take on that sound. You have an Aleph or an Ayin with an Ah, then all it is Ah. If you have an Aleph or an Ayin, the silent letters with the silent vowel, it's not really pronounced. And you think, wow, why would they do that? Well, they do. There are certain words where you have either an Aleph or an Ayin, the two silent letters, with the silent vowel. And most of the time, it's just because of the way the word is spelled and the way it's constructed. In Hebrew, when you're putting sentences together, Hebrew uses a lot of prefixes and suffixes. We came upon one of them, this H-sounding letter, the ha. This H with an ah under it in front of a word is ha. It means the. And if the word itself starts with a hey, like har, which means hill, a lot of times instead of a ha, an ah, like a ha-har, sounds like somebody's laughing, you will see the eh. That's this vowel with the three dots. Remember it, the way to remember it, the mnemonic aid, if you will, is the three dots. It looks like a bunch of eggs, eggs. So getting back to the letter in question, here's a Dalet, a duh, and here's a Resh, And you see the Resh, the R is rounded. See, it's got a little round. You could take a pen and just make one stroke. But with the Dalet, it's got this little bump on the end, this dent. This takes two strokes, duh. Okay? Okay, any questions on that? We also went over these two letters, the Beit, the B, and the Veit, the V. They're ultimately the same letter. But whether it has this dagesh, that's what it's called. That's what the dagesh in the letter is. In this case, with that dagesh, it makes it either a B, a Beit, or without it, it's a V. And again, for those of you that speak Spanish, you see the connection between the B and the V, because in Spanish, the B is kind of a soft B. It's kind of like a B, almost like a V. Okay? You will see this dagesh, this dot in the middle of other letters. And basically what it does is it emphasizes the letter. If you see a dot in the middle of this letter, for example, this mem, this m, okay, all it does is make it from a m to a m. Now, in most conversational Hebrew, you won't hear that. You won't hear the distinction. But in some words, it's there for emphasis. And as we go through words, you'll see how it is applicable. But it doesn't change the sound of the letter, just makes it a little bit more emphatic. Okay. Again, questions, comments? Okay, then let's go to today's letter. We'll start here with our Dalet. Okay, so let's go line one. This is a duh, and this will help us remember the sound of the letter, and it will also review the sounds of the vowels. Okay, so do. Let me hear you. Do. do, do, dode, do, da. So here you see a dogish, a little dot in the middle of the Dalet. Doesn't really change the sound, just makes it more emphatic. Instead of dode, it's dode. And dode, by the way, means uncle or lover, actually, like Dodie Lee, my lover. And doda is the feminine. It's aunt. All right, let's go to line 2, everybody. Da, D, da, and with that yud, it's D, a little bit longer, D. See, this is D, and this is D. Once again, dode, do, da. Okay, so we've learned a new letter. We've learned a couple of new words. Okay, line 3, and this will serve as a little bit of a review. Okay, ba, do, D, and do D is my uncle, or in that song, Dodie Lee, my lover. Dode, ha, dode. Ha, dode together is the uncle. Ba, which we may remember as comes, ba, do, D, my uncle. 4, dode, do, da, da, D, and do, D. Okay, so let's continue reviewing a little bit. We're going to review a little bit more because as we learn more and more words, you know, it helps to review a little bit more. So as we learn more letters, it helps to really get the letters embedded in our brains. Okay, so 5, do, D, mo, re. Ha, do, da, mo, ra. So do, D, mo, re. My uncle is a teacher. Remember, is the present form of to be is understood in Hebrew. Ha, do, da, mo, ra. Ha, do, da, the aunt, is a teacher. So we have the nouns, the subject of a sentence, agreeing in gender with the subject of the sentence. So ha, do, da, mo, ra, the aunt is a teacher. Do, di, my uncle, mo, re, is my uncle is a teacher. Okay. 6, Abba, which we remember as father. Ima, and I'm taking it for granted that you're all repeating after me. Ima. Hadoda, ba'a. The aunt comes because they're all on mute. Hadoda, ba'a. And ba'a is comes for a female, a feminine, you have the a. And one of the other things that this hey at the end of a word does, it's kind of a feminine marker. So a ha in front of a word is the hey at the end of the word, even though not pronounced, is one way of making it feminine. Okay, so let's go down a little bit. Let's go to 11. Me, more.
More.
Who is, thank you, who is the teacher? Hadod, more.
More.
The aunt, the uncle, is a teacher. Me, mora,
More.
who is the feminine teacher, or just the teacher. Hadoda,
Paduda.
devora,
Devora.
mora. So devora is Deborah. So Hadoda, devora, and Deborah is a teacher. Okay, so we've learned some words here. Dode, again, is uncle. Doda is aunt. Devora is Deborah. Okay, Questions on that? All right, I'm going to move this here. I've got a big screen over here too. I can see a little bit better actually. All right, let's move to the next letter. So this is a final mem, a final sound. There are some letters that have two constructs to them. So they have is that light kind of blinding a little bit behind me? Anybody having an issue with that?
No.
No? Good. Okay. So there are, I think, 6 letters that have a final construct to it, a final form. And the first one that we learn is the mem. At the end of a word, it looks like this, looks like a box. The other final letters is constructed a little differently, and I'll show you how they arrive at them when we get there. There is actually one case in the Hebrew Bible where a word starts with the final mem, with the final and it's in Isaiah. But for our intents and purposes, that's a final mem, and you will only see it when at the end of a word. And in a way, it's a different sound. All right, so let's look at line 1. We have im, which means with, me, which means who, which means people, as in nations, ami, which is my people, amim, which is nations or peoples, dod, once again, that's uncle, and dodim, which is uncles. So we've got a new construct here, a new form. When you see this E and this Yud and a final mem, that's the masculine plural, the masculine way of making a plural, im. Okay. Also, for those of you that have seen what the Torah looks like, that is not, a big scroll or anything, but inside the actual letters. And you notice that in the Torah, you don't have these vowels, otherwise known as the Kud marks. That is why you have 2 gabayim, or officers, on either side to make sure that the person reading the Torah, without the help of these vowels, is reading it correctly. Case in point is right here. This word is im, which means with. This word is am, which means nation. In the Torah scroll, it looks exactly the same. All you see is the ayin and the final mem. But you've got basically the same word, just pronounced differently, and it changes the meaning. So with this way, it's im with nation. And if that's read wrong, it can completely change the meaning of the verse. All right, continuing, number 2. Moreh, teacher. Morim, teachers. Nation. Amim, nations. Rabim, which means many. So Amim Rabim, many nations. Line 3. And now we're going to start getting into some of the nuances of the Hebrew language. So, ba, come. Ba'im, which is the plural of comes. So if you were to say Dodim, uncles are coming, you would say Dodim Ba'im. So not only does the gender have to match, but the number whether it's singular or plural, matches as well. Ivri, and we remember what this word means. Remember this word, Ivri? Hebrew. Ha-i, Varim. Ha-ivrim, the Hebrew people. Here's a word that we all recognize. Av, Ra, Ham. Avraham, Abraham, right? So we go down to line 4. Av, Ra, Ham, Ha, Ivri. Abraham the Hebrew. Avraham, Ha, Ivri. Line 5. Abba, Amar. Father said, Dodim, Rabim, Ba'im. Father said, Dodim, uncles, Rabim, many, come. So again, in Hebrew, the adjective comes after the noun. So this is many uncles are coming. Dodim, Rabim, Ba'im. We have the agreement on the plural. And we have both the verb and the adjective matching the number of the noun. 6. Morim, Rabim, Ba'im, Ba'erev. Many teachers. So many teachers are coming Ba'erev in the evening. Morim, Rabim, Ba'im, Ba'erev. So, line 7. Abba, me, Av, Ha-ivrim. Someone's asking dad or father, kind of the informal. Me, who, Av, father, Ha-ivrim, who is the father of the Hebrews. And we know that as 9, Avraham, Av, Amim, Rabim. Abraham is a father, Amim, Rabim, many peoples, many nations. Okay. So we've learned some words. Ba'im are coming, it's the plural. Avraham. Once again, nation or people. Amim, nations. Rabim, many. Morim, teachers. Okay, any questions on that? Be good? All right.
Yeah, no, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I got a little lost at the beginning. So you said that the yud final mem at the end is a masculine plural for what?
Anything.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's like putting S at the end of a word in English.
okay.
And it's not just that, it's the E as well.
Sure.
So let's go back. So as you see, E, Yud, Mem, Im, that's your masculine plural.
Team.
In the word nations, Amim, again, the E, the Yud, and the Mem, Im. Many, again, E,
So
Yud,
without the nations, it would just be nation.
exactly.
Okay,
I mean, it's a plural word, right? I mean, nation is a lot of people, right? But it's in one entity because it's a nation.
right, but in English, we would say one nation or many nations. So is it different in Hebrew? Is it always assumed to be plural?
No, yeah, it's the same word. So you can have the Hebrew nation. Now, there's many Hebrews, but it's one people, one nation.
So would it still be Ayim?
Not if you're talking about one nation. Okay, so let's say we're talking about Americans, one nation. Americans and Mexicans, two nations. Americans, Canadians, and Mexicans. North America, three nations.
Oh, I see down here in the bottom right, they have just people, nation. Okay.
Right.
All right, getting a little bit of cerebral overload here.
OCD. No, I'm the same way. Totally understand. I'm the same way.
Okay, all right.
I do have a question about that.
Go ahead.
Is this masculine or is like when you want to say something like, for example, aunts or aunties, is it the same way with that same letter in the end?
No, we haven't gotten to the feminine plural, which is oat. And the reason we haven't gotten there is because the feminine plural is the O. Okay, it's this O, and then it's this letter, which is a tav. So it's oat. So I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but doda is ant, right? The plural of ants would be dodot. That's your feminine plural. Okay? Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Let me
Thank you.
make it more complicated. I'll make it in ancient Hebrew. In ancient Hebrew, the feminine plural is E, Yud, and this letter, which is a final nun, in. So instead of Morim, you may say Maureen. And actually, when you get to pronouns, Haim, which is he, which is hey, and the final mem means them, masculine. Okay, so the hey and the and the final mem is haim, that's they, masculine. Hain, this hey and the and the final nun is hain, that's female. That's the female they, feminine they. So when you're listening to Torah being read and you hear the word ending in "een," then that's why, because that's your feminine plural.
Got it. So for example, and I know, like you said, the feminine, we're not there yet, but like if I'm not mistaken, sister in Hebrew is ahot, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
right.
would be a plural to, because then it's ending with a T, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Achot would be sisters. Acha is sister. Ach is brother.
Ah is brother, aha is sister, and ahot is sisters.
Mhm.
Got it. Huh.
Yeah. Okay. Do you feel like we need to review or should we just go on?
We can go on.
Okay. All right. Whoops. I don't need that. Where'd that come from? All right. Next vowel. A. These are your two dots. So it says A as in snake. And the way I tell people to remember this, what they're alluding to is it looks like snake eyes. A. So this is A. Everybody remember the show Happy Days?
Fonzie?
Yep, Fonzie. A. That's this. A. So this is A. And this is Fonzie. A. All right, let's do line 1.
Hmm.
A. Whoops. A. Day. Ray. See the difference? Day and Ray. And re. Let's go to line 2. May, me, may, a, and D.
D.
You may see may at the beginning of the word. We talked about prefixes. When you see this mem in front of a word, it's from. So may, like may iron. What is it? Psalm 121, may I, and from where our eyes, right? May, from our eyes. Okay. A means where. Little short construct of the way I learned it, which is IA, but it's A, which is where. Okay, line 3. Bay, they, hey, a, and me, which once again is my mom. 4. Think Homer Simpson. Do. Da.
Yeah.
De. Day. Day. Da. And D. 5. New word. Maher. Maher. And the reason we've got an exclamation point is because maher means quickly or fast. You say maher, fast, faster. Line 6. Ha'av, Omer, A, Ha'aim. The father, and this is the formal, the father, Omer, says, A, Ha'aim. Where is the mother? Line 7. Ima, mom, Bo'i, Maher. Bo'i is the feminine. It's kind of a command. You know, mom, come quick. 8. Hadod, Omer, A, Hadodah. The uncle says, where is the aunt? All right, let's go down a little bit and do some biblical reading. So as you see on line 13, Ha-bo-re, which is the creator. And you may recognize some forms of the word bore. Bara, which is who created. Asher bara, that created. Bereshit, the beginning, the creation. So on number 14, bore, or creator of light. 15, bore, ha-adam, created the man. But the way we interpret Adam these days is we just say humankind, make it non-gender, which is okay. I mean, I don't like to be so politically correct, but I think in this case, God created male and female, so I think it's just more appropriate. Bore ha-adam. 16. Borei Harim, creator of the mountains. And this is what I was talking about earlier. When you see the hey in front of a word meaning the, you will see ha. But if that word again is a word that starts with ha, like har, which is mountain, or harim, which is mountains, or I always know it as hill, harim. Chalutz, which we interpret today as pioneer, but you'll see it in the Bible as being interpreted as a warrior or shock troop, whatever Chumash translation you're reading. And they would say hechalutz. If you remember Hebrew school, hechalutz lema'an avodah, right? You know, that song. Zoom, golly, 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 right? All right, so we learned some more words. Maher, which is quickly. Omer, which is says. A, which is where, or where is. Aim, which is mother. Elvis Costello, my aim is true. Well, maybe his mother, he has a good relationship with his mother. His mother is true. Bo-e, come. Remember Lechadodi, Bo-e v'shalomat, right? That's come. Bo-e maher, come quickly. All right. Questions on that? Comments on that?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So aim is mother.
Right.
How is that different from Ima?
Ah, good question. The way I understand it and the way I interpret it, Ima, from what somebody told me, is from the Aramaic, mother. But Ima is more informal. It's like mom or mommy. The same way Abba is like dad or daddy. Does it mean mother and father respectively? Yes. But aim is the more formal. And
Like
Av is the more formal.
So they could be interchangeable depending on how you want to use it.
Yes and no. Okay. So in our prayers, for example, Father of mercy, Av Harachamim. We're talking about God. You wouldn't say Abba Harachamim. It wouldn't be appropriate.
So, right.
So if you're talking about somebody's father that you don't know, you might say Av. If you're talking about your father, you might say Abba, Abi. Same thing with mother and mom. So aim is the more plural, is the more formal mother, and Ima is the more informal mom. It's kind of the way I interpret it. It's the way I see it. Nobody's corrected me on that. So the only difference I've seen, I think I saw somewhere where Abba and Ima come from the Aramaic. I think I remember seeing that somewhere.
Right.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here's a Lamed. L, the longest letter. I feel like I'm on Sesame Street. L, Lamed. There's another way to remember this, that this is an L or a Lamed, which is really kind of neat. See the top part of the letter? It looks like an L. Lamed. And it's interesting, in some old type, some old fonts, this top part is actually down. So it kind of looks like this, almost looks like a squished S. But this is the Lamed. This is an L. All right, so you can remember it as the longest letter, L, or you can also remember it that the top part of it looks like an L. All right, line 1, let's do some reading. La,
Law.
la, lo, lo, lay, lay, li, and li. Now, this word li actually means to me. And this is another prefix. If you see a lamed in front of a word, it means to. So li, to me. Remember the E is me. It's the possessive, the individual first person possessive, li. So to me. Okay, let's go to line 2.
Was that
Go ahead.
to me or to be?
To me, me.
Oh,
M-
to me.
Let me move this mic up a little bit more. See, Nicholas, I'm using my mic. It sounds better, huh?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I'll take your suggestion next week for services. I'll bring this, I'll just use it.
I think it'll help at least some, and as before we get the focus right in place.
Well, when we were doing services from my house and people couldn't hear, I got this mic, a little cheap mic, and it made all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, line 3. A Lee. A
Me.
Lee. Al A Lee. So Al also is a word for God. It's a generic word for God. It's like the Babylonian word for God. So Eli is my God. See, you got that possessive, the E with the Yud as a possessive, Eli, my God. Now, here's where, again, it gets tricky. 4. Ba, Hamoreh, El,
L.
Avi. Ba, Hamoreh, El, Avi. The teacher is coming to my father. So El is the spelled out way of saying to. So le, like Lee, is a shorter, it's a contraction almost. So le ba is to father. To come, I'm sorry. Le av means to father. La abba, right? Okay, El, you could say El av, to father. Now, again, here's an issue. Here's a problem. You have El, which is the word for God, and you have El, which is the word for two. If once again you're reading from Torah, and the making a mistake between pronouncing it El or El would almost be blasphemous, because it's basically the same word. You're using the Aleph and the Lamed, but depending how you pronounce it, and it's very, very, a very slight difference, El or El, because these days in Israel, the A and the E are pronounced very similarly. Ancient Hebrew, it's a lot more distinct, A, E. But if you're speaking if you're conversing, El Avi. They say El too or El Avi. They say my father is God or to my father. You can make that mistake. And that's why it's very important to be right on point when you're reading Torah and make sure that you pronounce it specifically. Okay, 5. Lama, Lama, Ba, Mori. So Lama is why. It's not a big animal with a long neck. It's Lama, it's why. Lama, Ba, Mori. Why is my teacher coming? 6. Here's a scarier question. Lama, Ba, Amore, El, Avi. Why is the teacher coming to my father? 5. Harabi, Lomed. Adod, Lomed. So what do you think the word Harabi, what do you think Rabbi means?
Rabbi.
That's right. The rabbi learns, the uncle learns. Now, if you're an ant, hadoda, lambda. Hadod, lomed, hadoda, lambda. So the uncle learns the ant, and this is the past tense, lambda, learned. Because the feminine present tense involves another letter, that toph that we haven't learned yet, lomedet, but we'll get there. Okay, 11. Me, lomed, who is learning. Hadod meir, lomed. Uncle Meir learns. 12. Me, lamda, who learned, and we know that it's going to be a female. Hadoda, the ant. Leah, Aunt Leah, lamda, learned. So now we've got a few more biblical terms. 14. Ha'el, borei, ha'olam. God is the creator of the world. 15. Ha'el, borei. God, my creator. So what have we learned today? What words? Lomed, which is studies or learned. Lamda, feminine, which is studied. It's a past tense. We got Leah, proper name, and Meir. And Meir means light, right? Or Meir. Okay, now we come to the Gimel. G as in gap. Here's your gap right down here. This is a Gimel. G. So, line 1. Ga. Ga. G.
The
Ge.
game,
Gay.
game,
Gay.
gee,
Gi.
gee,
Gi.
go,
Go.
go,
And go. Line 2.
go,
Go. Go. Gay, which I think is Yiddish. Gay schleffen, go sleep. Ga. Gadol, which means big. Gadol means big. Gi. Bor. Gibor means mighty. And Gam, which means also. So you see dagishes in the gimels of the front of these words. It does not change the meaning, but it does change, makes it more emphatic. Gadol, Gibor, Gam. Now in Hebrew, the accent, you usually accent the word at the end of a word. Gadol. The reason the dagish isn't there, the way I see it, somebody may disagree with me, is because you're emphasizing the whole word. Instead of saying gadol, it's gadol. Instead of saying gibor, gibor. So you're pronouncing it, you're emphasizing both the syllables of the word. Line 3. Ha, ga, do. The big. Ha, gi, bor. The mighty. Ge, do, la, which is the feminine big. Gi, do, lim, which is mighty, which is like warriors or athletes or mighty people. Gidolim, I'm sorry, big, Giborim, I'm confused. Gidola, Gidolim, which are big people. Or big.
and that would infer male because it has the male plural "im" at the end.
Well, it wouldn't infer, it is male.
Well, okay,
But also, if you have male and female, they always revert to the male.
Okay.
5. 4 rather. Me,
Mhm.
gadol, who is big. 5. A rude response. Abba, gadol. Father, daddy is big. This is really rude. Gam, ha'aim, gedolah. Also, the mother is big. Nothing you'd want to say to any woman, ever. Gam, ha'aim, gedolah. Also, the mother is big. Hamoreh, gadol, the teacher is big. Gam, ha'aim, gedolah. Very good way to get in trouble.
So this form of big only refers to physical size, not in any way like great or.
No, you're right. It actually can be great. It can mean great.
So it could be in proper context. It could not. It could also be a compliment.
Yes, not only could, but what is the beginning of the Amidah? Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor. Ha'el, Ha'el, the God, Hagadol, the great, Hagibor, and mighty. The mighty, great God. Or awesome God. So yes, you're absolutely right. And it says so down here. 12. Here it is. Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor. The great, mighty God. There it is. Also, 13. Ha'el, bara, hama'or, hagadol. God created the great light, which from our point of view is the sun. Okay, any questions on that? All right, let's continue. Okay, this is our last vowel. We've now covered all the vowels. This is U, and there's 2 ways to make the U sound. One is with this vav with a dot in the middle. This is not a dagesh. What this dot does to this particular letter is it makes it into a vowel, makes it an U. Another way to make an U is with these 3 diagonal dots. So this letter is used in 2 cases as a vowel. If you have a dot on the top of it, as you do here, it's not going to let me do it. Okay, it's an O. If it's in the middle of it, it's an U. And somebody told me a way that they remembered, that somebody told them to remember it. It's like somebody's getting punched in the stomach and it's like, ooh. All right, so ooh and ooh. Okay, line 1. Boo, boo,
Oh,
vo, voo,
go.
go, goo, do, do, and this is also do. Now, I'm not sure why they say ooh as in spoon. I'm not, I don't know if there's a way to remember it that way, but it's just, it is what it is. Ooh and ooh. Okay. Line 2. Ho, do, which is give thanks. Ho do al eretz v'shamayim, right? Ho do, give thanks. Lo, le, om. Now, this is something that English speakers tend to do. The proper pronunciation is le, om. It's not lo. A lot of English speakers or Western speakers will see that and they'll go, oh, lo, no, lo-om. You've got two syllables there. Lo-om. Same thing with this. Lo-u meme. Not lu meme. Le-u meme. Dov dubim. Line 3. Rove meru beam. From many. Merubim. Olam, world. Ulam. Ho di u. O D U. So now we learn some pronouns. Line 4. Me. Who? Who is he? Who is he? Me who? Who is he? Who is he? Me. He. Who is she? He is she. We used to say in Hebrew, who is he? He is she. Me is who? Who is he? He is she. 5. Me. Who? Who is he? Who? Abba. He is dad. Me. He. Who is she? He. Ima. She is mom. Again. 6. Me. Who? Who is he? Who? Harabi. He is the rabbi. Me. Who? Who is he? Who? Hamore. He is the teacher. All right, this gives form to some more biblical verses. Let's go to 8. Who? Borei Olam. He is the creator of the world. Who? Eli. He is my God, right? Adon Olam. Bahu Eli Vachai Goali, right? And Hodu Lo. Give thanks to him. So lo, so li is to me, lo is to him. So you find that with certain constructs with pronouns. Okay, well, we've gone over that. All right, so we're coming to the close, but let's do one more section, one more lesson. And this is almost kind of easy because it basically extends what you already know. Now we know these vowels. We know that this is ah, and this is ah, and this is eh. But what are these silent vowels doing in front of the ah, and the eh? It makes them short. So instead of saying ah, with that short vowel, with the ah, with the silent vowel in front of it, it's ah. Same thing with this. Instead of ha, with that short vowel, it'd be ha, very quick. Same thing here. Instead of it would be eh. Now, when would we use a short vowel? Remember when we talked about how Hebrew words are accented at the end of the word, the last syllable usually. So if you have a multi-syllable word, say 3 syllables, a lot of times the first syllable is going to be, you're going to go by it real quick. And that's when you're going to see the short vowel. So let's do a few words and you'll see what I mean. Okay, 1, ah, ha, ah, ha, A, E, He, E. Very quick. So, line 2, Avi. Whereas this yud on a long vowel, an E or an A makes it a little bit longer, this short vowel makes it shorter. Hadar. Hear that? So the accent's on the back of the word on the dar. So the ha is real quick. Hadar, which is room. Hadar. Dining room. Hadar ha'ochel. Ali. Ali. Now, here we have it in the middle of the word. Hali. Hali. Ahali. Ahmad. Ahmad. To be standing. Elil, which is idle. Elil. Not Elil. Elil. He. Elil. He Elil. Okay. 3. Do a few words that you will probably recognize. Arif. Ma'arif. Evening. Or brings on. Ara. Vim. See how you have that yud that extends the E? Aravim. You've got both cases. Aravim. Hale. Ahale. Edom. Edom. Esau. Edom. Or red. He. Evir. He Evir. Ava. Dim. Avadim. Accented at the end. Avadim. Workers or slaves. Avadim chayinu, right? So here you'll see some familiar words and the application. Line 5.
Can I
Elohim.
ask a question?
Go ahead.
Some of those reshes look an awful lot like Dalets.
Yes.
Is that my eyeballs, or is that true?
No, a lot of people confuse the two.
Because on line 2, where your cursor is, that's a resh, but if you go to there, that doesn't look like a resh, it looks like a Dalet.
It is a Dalet, Ma'amad.
Oh, it is. Okay. I thought you pronounced it with an R.
Oh, okay. Well, if I did, I was wrong. Ma'amad. Ma'amad.
Muhammad. Okay. That's it. It just confused me.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, I'll be more. I'll use my mouth more later.
Thank you.
Move my lips more. Enunciate. Okay. So again, 5. Elohim. Borei. Ha'olam. God is the creator of the world. 6. Hu. Elohei. Ha'amin. Hu. He. Elohei is the God of. He is, when you have im to say the plural of, you would use he instead of im. Elohei. Elohim is God's. Elohei, God's of. And it's actually the individual God, but even though Elohim is a plural word, we interpret it as God, as in one God. There's another story to that we'll get into another time. Elohim, Borei, Ha'adam. God is the creator of people. Elohim, Borei, Ha'adam. 8. Hu, Eli, Hu, Vor-E. He is my God. He is my creator. 9. Elohim, Borei, Ha'or. God is the creator of light. Finally, Hu Elohe Olam. He is the creator of, he's the eternal God. 11, keep going. Me'olam ad olam, from ever ad until forever. Okay. Let's just read this box real quick. Elohim li lo ira. God is with me. I will not fear. Okay, we're going to stop there. Any questions, comments? We good? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this on my YouTube channel and my website. And I'm also going to start sending in the roster to NJOP so they can go ahead and do their get their grants. All right, thank you, everybody. And we will see you next week.
Thank you,
If
Rabbi.
you have any questions in the meantime, please let me know.
Thank you,
Thank
Rabbi.
you, Rabbi. Have
Thank
a
you,
great,
Sheila.
a great day,
Thank you,
everyone.
Roberto, Nicholas, and Scott. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.